She told me she sat on the bathroom floor for 40 minutes before she could even stand up. And here is the thing that surprised her most. And honestly, it surprised me too when she said it. It wasn't the money that hit her hardest. It was the sex. She said that night, lying next to him, she felt like she had been sleeping next to a stranger, that everything that had happened in that bed between them felt like it had been built on something fake, like intimacy itself had been borrowed under false pretenses. And I want to talk about that today, because nobody really talks about it. We talk about financial infidelity as a money problem. We talk about trust and transparency and shared accounts and all of that. And yes, those things matter. But the part that actually breaks people, the part that makes some couples never really come back, is what it does to the physical and emotional intimacy between them. What it does to the bedroom. What it does to the way two people touch each other when one of them has been living a secret life. I have spent years sitting in that exact space, the intersection where financial pressure stops being about money and starts being about love, power, and what it actually means to know somebody. And I have watched couples who I genuinely thought were finished find their way back. And I have watched couples who looked fine on paper quietly fall apart anyway. So if you are in this right now, if you are the one who found the secret, or the one who kept it, or honestly, if you are just scared that something feels off and you can't name it yet, this video is for you. If this channel is the kind of conversation you've been needing, subscribe. We do not do generic advice here. We go into the real stuff. By the end of this video, you will understand exactly why financial infidelity hits intimacy so hard, and the actual, honest path that helps couples recover. Not the polished version, the real one. What financial infidelity actually is, and why it feels like cheating. Let's be clear about what we mean, because people sometimes hear financial infidelity and think it just means hiding a splurge, like buying expensive trainers and saying they were on sale. That's not what we're talking about. Financial infidelity is systematic secret-keeping around money inside a committed relationship. It's a hidden account. It's debt that only one person knows about. It's income that one partner conceals. It's a pattern, not a one-off purchase, of making financial decisions that affect both of you while keeping the other person completely in the dark. And the reason it registers in the body the way cheating does is because it involves the exact same ingredients. Deliberate deception, a secret life running parallel to the real one, and often, though not always, a kind of emotional withdrawal that the other partner sensed but couldn't explain. A real story. Marcus and Diane had been together 11 years. From the outside, they were solid. She ran a small business. He worked in logistics. They had a joint account for bills and kept separate accounts for personal spending, which is completely normal, by the way. What Diane didn't know was that Marcus had been borrowing against a credit card for almost 2 years. Not for anything dramatic. No affair, no addiction. He'd had a rough patch at work, felt embarrassed, didn't want her to see him as a failure, and just kept it going. By the time she found out, it was around $19,000. She said to me, "I would almost rather it had been an affair. At least that would make sense to me. This, I don't even know who was lying to me, because he was still being kind. He was still being a good husband, and he was lying every single day." Why this matters to you right now. If you are the partner who found out, what you are feeling is not an overreaction. Your nervous system is processing a genuine betrayal. The person who was supposed to be your financial partner, your co-pilot, was making unilateral decisions that affect your shared future. That is a real violation, regardless of the amount. And if you are the partner who hid it, I want you to hear this without shame spiraling. The hiding usually starts from fear, not malice. But intention doesn't cancel impact, and the road back requires you to understand what you actually took from your partner when you decided to manage this alone. Takeaway: before you can begin to recover, as a couple or individually, you need to agree on what actually happened, not the dollar amount, the breach. Name it honestly, together, before you try to fix anything else. Why it goes straight to the bedroom. Here is something therapists and financial advisors rarely say out loud. Financial infidelity often kills physical intimacy before the couple even has the money conversation. Think about what sex, good, connected sex, actually requires. Vulnerability, presence, a sense of safety. The felt experience that the person you are with is fully there, fully yours, fully known. When one partner has been living a secret, that safety is gone. Even if the betrayed partner doesn't consciously know why yet, the body often picks it up first. A vague sense of distance, a partner who seems slightly elsewhere, touch that feels somehow performative. And then the secret comes out, and suddenly everything recontextualizes. Every moment of intimacy that happened during the deception gets re-examined. Was any of it real? Was he thinking about the debt when we were together? Was she somewhere else, even then? A real story. After Priya found out that her husband had been hiding a failing side business for 18 months, including drawing down on equity in their home without telling her, she said she couldn't let him touch her for almost 6 weeks. It wasn't anger exactly, she told me. It was more like I didn't know his body anymore. I kept thinking, this person kept a secret from me for 1.5 years. What else don't I know? Who is this person, actually? Her husband, Dev, was devastated. He had expected anger. He had expected arguments about the money. He had not expected to become, in his own words, invisible to her. And that invisibility, that withdrawal of physical connection, hit him harder than any argument could have. The honest truth. For many couples, the path back to physical intimacy has to go through emotional honesty first. You can't skip steps. You cannot manufacture closeness while the real conversation is still sitting unspoken in the room. This isn't about punishing your partner by withholding affection. It's about the fact that genuine intimacy, the kind worth having, requires a foundation that has to be rebuilt brick by brick, and that takes longer than most people want it to. Takeaway. For both partners, if you are the one who was betrayed, your body's response is intelligent. Give yourself permission to move at your own pace. Do not perform intimacy you don't yet feel. It will make things worse, not better. If you are the one who caused the harm, do not make your partner's physical withdrawal about you. It is not rejection. It is recalibration. Your job right now is to be consistently trustworthy, not to accelerate the emotional timeline to manage your own anxiety. The shame spiral that keeps couples stuck here is where I see couples get completely stuck, and it happens on both sides. The partner who kept the secret is usually drowning in shame, and shame, this is important, is not the same as guilt. Guilt says, I did something bad. Shame says, I am something bad. Guilt can motivate repair. Shame makes people shut down, get defensive, go quiet, or paradoxically, get angry, because anger is easier to wear than shame, and the betrayed partner is often carrying their own version of shame too. How did I not see it? What does it say about me that I was so trusting? Why didn't I check? Am I naive? Am I bad with money? Did I cause this somehow? Both of these shame spirals, running simultaneously, create a kind of conversational gridlock. Nobody can actually talk because everyone is too busy managing their own internal noise. A real story. Tom and Rebecca came within 3 weeks of separating. Not because they stopped loving each other, they still did, but because every conversation about the debt Tom had hidden turned into a fight that went nowhere. Rebecca would ask a question. Tom would hear it as an accusation and shut down or deflect. Rebecca would read the shutdown as not caring, and the distance between them would grow another inch. What broke the cycle, and I want to be honest, it took a good therapist to help them see this, was when Tom finally said out loud, I am so ashamed of myself that I can't hear anything you say without feeling like you're about to tell me I'm worthless, and I know that's not fair to you. That one sentence, that was the first real conversation they'd had in 4 months. Why this matters shame is the enemy of recovery, not the money, not even the lie. The shame that prevents two people from having an honest conversation in the same room at the same time. Takeaway. If you are the one who hid the secret, the only way through shame is disclosure, not just of the financial details, though yes, that too, but of the fear, the embarrassment, the story you told yourself about why keeping it secret was somehow protecting your partner. Say that out loud. It is the most powerful thing you can do. If you are the betrayed partner, try, and I know this is hard, to signal that you are there for the truth, not to confirm your partner's worst fears about themselves. You can be angry and still be a safe place for honesty. Both things can coexist. What rebuilding actually looks like, the honest version. I want to push back on something you might have seen in other content about this topic. The idea that forgiveness is a decision, that once you choose to forgive, recovery basically follows, that couples who love each other enough will find a way. Look, love matters. Of course it does. But love alone doesn't rebuild trust. Consistent, demonstrated behavior over time rebuilds trust, and that is a slow process. For most couples, genuine recovery from a significant financial betrayal takes 12 to 24 months. Not weeks, not a single honest conversation, a sustained period of showing up differently, full financial transparency, not just the revelation of the secret, but an ongoing, non-negotiable openness going forward. Some couples use shared apps that give both partners real-time visibility into all accounts. Some do a weekly money check-in, 15 minutes, no blame, just both people looking at the same numbers together. The format matters less than the consistency. Separating the financial repair from the emotional repair. These are two different tracks, and they move at different speeds. You can sort out a repayment plan while simultaneously being nowhere near emotionally recovered. That's okay. Keep both conversations alive without expecting them to resolve at the same pace. Third, professional support. I say this without drama. A couples therapist who understands financial stress is not a sign that you have failed. It is a sign that you are taking this seriously. Money and intimacy are two of the most loaded topics humans deal with. Getting help navigating their collision is not weakness, it is intelligence. A real story back to Marcus and Diane. They almost didn't make it. There was a period of about 8 months where Diane genuinely did not know if she wanted to stay, and she gave herself permission to not know. She didn't manufacture certainty she didn't feel. What brought her back, she said, wasn't any single conversation or gesture from Marcus. It was watching him change, watching him initiate the money conversations instead of waiting for her to, watching him become someone she recognized again, someone who didn't disappear when things got hard. I had to fall in love with him again, slightly differently, she told me. The version of him I married felt a little naive in retrospect. The person I chose to stay with is someone I actually know better, even if what I know includes this. Takeaway recovery is not about returning to who you were before. That version of the relationship is gone. The question is whether you can build something more honest in its place. Some couples can, some can't, and both of those outcomes are valid. When it is too broken to fix, and how to know. The concept. I think we do people a disservice when we only talk about recovery. Because sometimes, and this is real, the relationship shouldn't continue, and recognizing that is not failure, it's clarity. So how do you know the difference between this is genuinely recoverable and we are just in the hard part versus this is not something either of us should have to keep living inside? There are a few honest indicators, not rules, indicators. If the partner who caused the harm is not genuinely taking responsibility, if they are minimizing, deflecting, blaming external circumstances or your reactions, that is a serious signal. You cannot rebuild with someone who does not accept that there is something to rebuild. If there is a pattern, if this is not the first significant deception, financial or otherwise, the question shifts from, can we recover from this, to, is this a relationship of genuine mutual respect at all? And if the betrayed partner finds, even after time and genuine effort from both people, that the trust is simply gone, that they cannot stop waiting for the next secret, cannot relax, cannot be present. That is not weakness. That is important information about what is actually possible. A real story. I spoke with a woman, I'll call her Jo, who spent nearly 3 years trying to recover from her partner's financial deception. He had hidden gambling debts. He went to counseling. He was genuinely trying. She was genuinely trying. And at the end of 3 years, she said quietly, "I don't think the problem was ever that he wasn't trying. I think the problem is that I will never not be waiting for the other shoe to drop. And I don't want to live the rest of my life like that." She left. And she is, by her own account, at peace. I am not telling you that to plant a seed of doubt. I am telling you that because giving yourself permission to know what you know, even when it is painful, is an act of self-respect that this channel will always affirm. Takeaway. The measure of a relationship is not whether it survives. It's whether both people are genuinely seen, genuinely safe, and genuinely free to be honest. If you can get there, it is worth fighting for. If you cannot, it is worth letting go. The conversation you need to have and how to start it. I want to leave you with something concrete, because I know that for a lot of people watching this, the hardest part isn't understanding what went wrong. It's figuring out how to begin. So here is how to start the real conversation, not the argument, the conversation. If you are the one who hid something, do not start with the numbers. Start with the fear. I need to tell you something, and I need you to know that I was afraid. I was afraid of, name it, failing, judgment, disappointing you, feeling out of control, and that fear made me make a decision I should never have made alone, and I am sorry. Then the numbers, then the full picture, but lead with the human thing, because that is what your partner actually needs to understand first. If you are the one who found out before the conversation, ask yourself what you actually need from it. Information, an apology, to be heard. All of those are valid, but they require slightly different conversations. Know what you are going in for, or the conversation will try to do too many things at once and do none of them well. And consider saying this: I need to understand what was happening for you, not to excuse it, but because I can't make a decision about us based on what I don't know. That framing keeps the door open without requiring you to feel something you don't yet feel, for both of you. Pick a time when you are not already activated, not after a difficult day, not when one of you is already defensive. Sit together, not across a table like an interrogation, but beside each other if you can manage it. The physical posture matters. You are trying to be on the same side of this, even when it doesn't feel like it. And if you get stuck, if the conversation hits a wall and starts turning into an argument, this is the sentence that can reset it. Can we start that again? I don't want to be on opposite sides of this. That's it. That's the reset button. Can couples recover from financial infidelity? Honestly, some can, and some cannot. And both of those answers deserve to be said without flinching. What I can tell you, from everything I have seen and studied and heard, is that the couples who do recover are not the ones who had the least damage. They are the ones who committed to honesty, even when it was uncomfortable, who gave each other the room to be in the hard part without rushing to the other side, who understood that rebuilding trust is not a grand gesture, but a daily practice. And I want to say something to the person watching this who is still not sure if they should stay or go. You are allowed to not know yet. You are allowed to be in the middle of this without having arrived at your answer. The most important thing right now is that you stay honest with your partner. Yes, but first with yourself. Financial infidelity is not just about money. It never was. It is about the story two people agreed to tell together, and what happens when one of them was secretly telling a different version. Getting back to a shared story, a real one this time, is possible, but it starts with being willing to say out loud what is actually true. If this video found you at the right moment, if something in here felt like a conversation you have been needing to have, Share it with someone who needs it too. Subscribe if you want to keep going deeper into this space. We cover money, relationships, and everything that lives at the intersection of the two. And to whoever you are, wherever you are in this, I hope you find your way to something more honest. You deserve that, both of you.